Boy, do we have a lot to cover. It's showtime. Oh,
It's the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
here we go. All right, yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve King Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to cover today. There was massive news that was dropped on NewsMax yesterday. A massive story that I'm going to break to you. I'm not the original breaker of it. It's NewsMax TV, which is awesome. They're like the Drudge Report back in the 90s or Fox in the early 2000s. I mean, they had really big stuff over there. There was a major story dropped on NewsMax yesterday, and we're going to cover that in just a bit, okay? And it's one that I'm going to need your help with. This is a big one, guys. It is a big one. And thank the Lord we have NewsMax. In fact, this story that I'm going to share with you from NewsMax in a little bit, I've seen nowhere else but on NewsMax. Not even my normal sources that I go to for the real news, okay? So this is big. You will not want to miss that. I know it's pretty big. And there's another story I'm going to start with in just a moment that is also pretty big, but not as big. You know, we got a lot to cover today in less than 3 hours to do it. I want to comment on the hurricane first and just get that out of the way. This is a bad hurricane. Luckily, the hurricane is not hitting the part of Florida that we live and broadcast in. When I say we, I mean our radio station, Steve, me, all of us, and everyone here at the radio station, because we're in South Florida, which is on the, Palm Beach, Broward, Miami area. So we are not in the part of the hurricane. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the hurricane today. Get that out of the way. Except when I'm talking about Tom Laporta, because we have listeners over in that area, and they're going to need to call Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting if they have any issues. But the reason you don't talk about certain things like that is the hurricane's a big deal to those that are impacted by it, right? And if you're not in the area, if the hurricane was hitting in our area, well, I don't even know if we'd be on the air live this morning if we were having a hurricane hit this morning at that strength. But we're not here to do hurricane tracker maps, okay? And the update only comes out every 3 hours. So that's just not what we do. The only people that really are going to be that concerned with it are those that are impacted by it immediately. But if you are listening to us and you're in one of the areas of Florida getting hit by the hurricane, do everything they tell you. If you are in an evacuation zone, get out. Get out. The biggest problem people run into in hurricanes is they don't evacuate when they are in an evacuation zone and they're told to evacuate. And those are the people that run into trouble. And oftentimes when hurricanes hit, those are the people that you never see or hear from again. Okay, so if you're in an evacuation zone and you've been told to evacuate, get out. All right? Yeah. All right, so let me get into what I want to start with, and then coming up in a little bit, this major story that was dropped on NewsMax, I'm going to get to in a little bit, but I want to get to this one first. Did you hear this story of the little kid, the 7th grader in Colorado, who was removed from class by his militant, liberal, Democrat teacher because he had the Don't Tread on Me flag, the Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me flag, little patch on his backpack? This was insane. For those that don't know, I know our conservatives know this, but people that are not conservative may not know. The Don't Tread on Me flag, that's the yellow flag with the snake, also referred to as the Gadsden flag because the flag was created by Gadsden, was a flag that was flown during the American Revolution, okay, by some people you may have heard of that they don't teach you about in school anymore. Benjamin Franklin, General Washington, John Adams, and other great Americans. Our founding fathers. The Don't Tread on Me flag is a very important flag. It's a flag about liberty, and you know, what the "Don't Tread on Me" flag represents, yeah, that's with an L, is the snake on the flag are the 13 colonies united as one against the redcoats, okay? And sometimes there's variations on the flag with the snake. The "Don't Tread on Me" flag, sometimes the snake is whole and sometimes it's in different pieces. If you see one that's in different pieces, count the pieces. Unless that flag was created by a stupid person, it has 13 pieces to the snake, right? And you may have heard one of the phrases from our American Revolution, "Join or die." It's, you know, the 13 colonies joined together as one against the King of England, okay? That's what that's all about. Join or die is about the colonies joining together. And when you see it, the snake in pieces, it means, you know, the colony's divided. When you see the whole thing, they're united. And it's a very important symbol of everything that this great country stands for. So this little boy, 7th grade, how old are you in 7th grade? 12? This little boy, he gets taken out of his class by his very militant, liberal school teacher. And what she wanted him to do was empty out his backpack, carry all his stuff in his arms, leave the backpack wherever, I don't know, the office, and then he could return to class. And the little boy, who was one of the best dressed, best groomed 12-year-olds I've ever seen, you would think he went to a private school where they required uniforms, but it's not, it's a public school. He said, "You know, my mom is nearby. Can you call my mom?" So mom came over with the other kids, and there was a parent-teacher conference right there on the spot. And mom is a very smart mom. She recorded the entire parent-teacher conference with this militant, liberal, stupid, uneducated, brainwashed school teacher. And after the first break, I'm going to play for you the audio from this parent-teacher conference, and we're going to talk about it. Then, after we get through that, I'm going to get into this major story, and I'm not exaggerating by this, by the way. I don't do hype. I don't do clickbait. I don't hype nothing up, and then, a lot of people do that to keep you listening. I'm not big into the tease to keep people listening through the breaks. I just do what it is I do. This story from NewsMax is huge, people. Huge. And after I'm done with the "Don't Tread on Me" Gadsden flag story, which is a very important story, I'm going to get to the NewsMax bombshell that was dropped yesterday. All right? Now, your calls are welcome throughout the morning. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, if you are in one of the hurricane areas that are getting hit and you're listening online or somewhere to this program, Tom Laporta from Laporta Contracting covers the entire state of Florida, okay? He has offices throughout the state of Florida, East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between of Florida. So if you have any hurricane damage, any storm damage after this god-awful storm that's hitting Florida, call Tom Laporta. I'm going to give you his number. Now remember, Tom Laporta's number that I give you rings directly to his cell phone, and his response time is amazingly fast. Don't trust these guys driving around the neighborhood in pickup trucks. Here's Tom's number, 954-604-4602. You might want to write this down and put it on your refrigerator in case you might lose internet. You might lose electricity, and all you'll have is your phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE 1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like to read?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you guys, this is just a disgusting story with this school teacher. I showed the video on my live stream last night, but I'm going to play it on the radio, and we're going to go through this, and then after I'm done with that, I'll get into this huge story on NewsMax, which was just a massive story. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, okay? This is where MAGA comes to talk. This is the most pro-Donald Trump platform you'll find anywhere, all right? And, of course, we take calls live on the air, and no matter where you're calling, it's a toll-free number, and all the calls are screenless. I don't know who's on hold or what they're going to talk about until I click them on the air. But what's going on in our public schools is disgusting. The teacher's out of her mind. Yeah. But she's a typical school teacher today. You know, they're brainwashed in college. You know, these education programs in our universities are so liberal beyond imagination. And really, they're awful. Oh, yes. I know we have a lot of people that are in the hurricane area. They don't know their address. Well, how many of us don't know phone numbers anymore because everyone's programmed into our cell phones? I mean, Kathy got a new phone number a few months back. I don't know her number. Every time I have to write her number down or do something, I got to look on my phone book on my phone. But I can remember my number from when I was a little kid. I can remember my address, too, when I was a little kid in elementary school. People are too dependent on these electronics today, right? Mm-hmm. It's our last commercial, and we'll be right back, guys.
Reservation at 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back, one and all. My name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It's Wednesday, August 30th, and it's 18 minutes after the hour. All right, we're going to jump right into it. So this little boy, 7th grader, 12-year-old kid, he has a backpack, and he's got this little tiny patch, maybe 2 inches wide, on his backpack. That is the Don't Tread on Me flag. Okay, the yellow flag with the snake. It says, Don't Tread on Me. And as I was saying in the first segment, for those that don't know, that's a flag of the American Revolution. And it was a flag, I bet you, I haven't studied the Gadsden flag in so long, I haven't thought about it too much at this level of detail, but it probably was in existence before we had a flag of the United States. Because it was about, and the snake represents the 13 colonies united together as one against the redcoats. So this little boy with his Don't Tread on Me flag was stopped by his teacher, who would not allow him to go to class unless he left the backpack outside of the classroom, because the Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me flag, is a symbol of racism and slavery, she says. So the little boy, he says, my mom is nearby. Can we call my mommy? And teacher said, okay. So they called mom. Mom came over for a parent-teacher conference, in the parent-teacher conference is Mom, the teacher, the 7th grade little boy wearing his backpack with the Don't Tread on Me flag on it, and the rest of the kids. One of them's a baby. And Mom is a very smart, patriotic mom. She recorded the entire parent-teacher conference on her cell phone. So I'm going to play this for you, then we'll talk about it. And because we've got some serious problems going on. Okay, here we go. You may have to turn out, I'm going to tell you, I have potted the volume up on this as loud as I can without distorting it. Okay, because this is investigative journalism Mom did here. So the teacher wasn't talking into a microphone. So you may have to turn up the volume when I play this. You may have to turn your radio up a little louder. Okay, while we're hearing this, but it's good stuff, guys. Listen.
They do not want the flag. The reason we do not want the flag to wave is due to its origins with slavery and slave trade.
Okay. She said that's the teacher. She says they don't want the flag there because of its origins with racism and the slave trade. This is the flag that symbolizes the American Revolution. She says it's history with the slave trade.
That is what was, that's the reasoning behind the Gadsden flag. The Don't Tread on Me.
Which is the Gadsden flag. Okay, so he's what's going to happen if he doesn't take it up?
He is able to go. I was actually just telling him, like, I was upset that he was missing so much school. I was like, so I asked him, can he just take his stuff out of his bag and go back to class? Like, I just wanted to go back to class. The bag can't go back. It's got a patch on it, because we can't have that in and around other kids. So that's what I was trying to do. He said you were close. So I was like, oh, yeah.
Okay, now the teacher has said that he cannot go back to class and expose other children in the class to the Don't Tread on Me flag.
To do with slavery, that's like the Revolutionary War patch that was displayed when they were fighting the British. Like that wasn't, that's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking of like the Confederate flag.
Okay, I am here to enforce the policy that was provided by the district.
Okay.
And definitely you have every right to not agree with it. I mean, I think
ACLU says that he's allowed to wear that. If you like go on their website, it's like says in big letters.
I mean, all I'm saying is that
Unless there's like a ban on patches, period, like you said, there's no patches allowed at the school, you cannot display what you think or anything like that, or what cheer or anything like that. I think it's like one-sided, you know, because you allow some patches, but not other patches.
Said that he was like in the meetings and like gave the American flag and backpacks.
Yeah. That was like flown during the revolution, but yeah, I just don't understand that at all.
so.
And if you go into the ACLU's website site, yeah, let's talk to
I can have you speak to Jeff Yoakum again.
Okay.
And then he can refer you to our person at the district.
Okay.
Because, like I said, we're following district policy, is what we're doing. So, the last thing you want is him out of class.
Yeah, I know.
That's all
He takes his classes seriously. He studies. He wants to get straight A's. He did that. He made honor roll when he was here before.
Yeah.
He intends to do that again right now, but it's hard because he keeps missing class for this. So.
I understand that.
Yeah, and I mean, we teach him to always stick up for your beliefs, and I mean, you're going over the revolution this for 7th grade. I mean, the founding fathers stood up for what they believed in against unjust laws. This is unjust.
Okay, like I said, we're upholding a policy that was provided to us, which we have to uphold.
Okay, so that's it. And I know the audio quality is not that great, but when you have investigative journalism being done by great patriotic parents, you can't complain about the audio quality. Now, you know, these parents, what they did was a beautiful and brilliant thing. In fact, the school board in this district in Colorado voted to reverse this policy, and now the Don't Tread on Me flag is allowed. Now, there's a question about this that I want to ask you all. This teacher's not a young girl. She's in her mid-30s, maybe 40-ish. It's hard to tell. Doesn't matter how old she is or how young she is. She's got the mind of a chipmunk. She doesn't know anything. Do you think that she has the "Don't Tread on Me" flag confused with the Confederate flag? Or did she just think America is a country that's all about slavery, the slave trade, and all that liberal rhetoric and hates this country? Which do you think it is? You know, these teachers, when you go to college, you know, I have, my degree is a double major in history and education. I went to school to be a history teacher, and I took all these education classes, okay? And now I went to college as an adult, and let me tell you, when you're taking education classes that teach you how to teach, 80% of it is liberal indoctrination, okay, like this. I just let it go in one ear and out the ear because I was a grown-up. But these teachers are brainwashed in these liberal indoctrination centers known as our public school system and our university system, and they come out with all of these weird views on this country and our allies. They come out hating America and hating Israel, okay? And that's the way it is. But parents like this is what you want. You want parents that say, we're not going to put up with this, and expose what is going on and stop this type of harassment. Do you think if he had a BLM flag on his backpack, he would have been allowed in class? I bet you he would have. Do you think if he would have had that transgender flag that I see everywhere now, he would have been allowed in class? If he had a gay rainbow flag on his backpack with a transgendered flag being waved on the patch by Dylan Mulvaney, do you think this teacher would have told him he couldn't come to class? Of course not. She's a hate America first person. She's lost her liberal mind. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll take some calls, and we'll talk about the hurricane a little bit throughout the show, but that cannot be our focus. I'm sorry, guys, but I will talk about it a little bit when we get back. And there was a huge story that broke on NewsMax that I'm going to share with you. A major story broke on NewsMax, and I'm going to call on you to help with this story. It's huge, and your help's definitely going to be needed. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
What do you guys think? Do you think the teacher had the "Don't Tread on Me" flag confused with the Confederate flag, or did she know what it is and just thinks that the country is all about, you know, slavery and all of that? What do you think it is? I think she's just a hate America first person. Could be a little mix of both, but she lost that one, the teacher. Oh yeah, these teachers are brainwashed. That's why we gotta recruit. We have, you know, Charlie Kirk has so many young people in his Turning Point movement. We got to recruit these kids to be school teachers and get patriots as school teachers, right? I mean, you know, we've let them take over our school system because we don't encourage young conservative people to become school teachers and college professors, right? That's what we got to do. The liberal hive mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that hate America first. When I was younger, and I would hear people talk about liberals being the hate America first crowd. I just, when I was young, I didn't understand. I couldn't believe it. I said, how could they hate America? They live here. How can they hate it? They do. They do. It's not logical, but they do. She probably feels guilty living in Colorado, which is U.S. occupied Native American territory, probably, right? That's probably how she views Colorado. Well, what happened with that teacher, these liberals are not accustomed to parents standing up and saying that's not right, because conservatives typically cower down in these instances. They don't stand up for the rights that we have. I mean, you know, what I'm curious about is they gotta teach about American history and the Revolution in that school. There's no way they got a book that teaches about the American Revolution in social studies that doesn't have the "Don't Tread on Me" flag in it. Maybe they teach, though, that it's a symbol of the slave trade, like the teacher said. Who knows? These are freaking lunatics.
Serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
As the Jewish high holidays approach, are you looking for a warm and welcoming congregation like you had back home? The members of Temple Israel are extending their hands to you. Join us in worship with Rabbi Carly Daniel, Rabbi Ryan Daniel, Cantoro Solis, Suzanne Glenn, as we welcome the new year in our beautiful sanctuary. Temple Israel, located on Flagler Drive in West Palm Beach, is a Reformed congregation with an amazing history. As the oldest Jewish organization in Palm Beach County, we're celebrating our 100th anniversary. If you're separated from loved ones and friends this year, don't be a stranger. Come home to your Temple Israel family. We'll welcome you with open arms.
Luna is doing well. Yeah, I was petting her right as I was leaving today. She was sitting on the our table by our front door as I was leaving, wanted me to pet her before I left, so I did. She's adjusted pretty good. All right, we'll be back shortly. This is our bottom of the hour break, then we'll be back. That story about the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, it's a good thing it happened because there's a whole dialogue going on about the "Don't Tread on Me" flag now. So people are learning about it and what it really means, not what these liberals want us to think that it means, right? So that's a good thing. You see that, you know, the thing about the MAGA movement is whatever, well, you got to, Freedom Soup every third check goes through, you've got to adjust it so that you get the live chat. And it's different based on what device you're watching on. Like, I'm on my iPad here, so I click the little wheel, and it says chat filter, and it says either top messages or all messages. So I click all messages, you get everything. I don't know what defines a top message, but that's how YouTube works. I don't know why they do it that way. Yeah, Mike, our regular board op, he got called for jury duty. So he's not with us. We'll see if he gets put, if he tells him that he runs the board for a MAGA show, he may not get on a jury. The prosecutor would want you, but not the defense attorney. Yeah, it's that 1619 project nonsense. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. It's Wednesday morning. You know that, just to finish up on this "Don't Tread on Me" thing, I'm so glad this happened because, you know, this story was trending on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it. It was all over the news yesterday. And it gives us an opportunity to talk about something that we don't talk about, the "Don't Tread on Me" Gadsden flag and what it means and what this country is about. And this teacher isn't just a project of a product. I need a teacher, I guess, right? It's early, guys. I've had about half the amount of caffeine I normally have. I had something happen early this morning when I got up, and I just am behind on my coffee, so bear with me, guys. This teacher is not just a product of a liberal university system. She's been brainwashed by this 1619 curriculum that they've brainwashed teachers with. And I saw that Charlie Kirk picked up on this story, and I'm very glad that Charlie Kirk did because, you know, Turning Point USA is a youth organization, high school and college kids that are conservatives, that are Republican, that are MAGA. And I was invited by Charlie Kirk to that Turning Point event a couple weeks ago in Palm Beach. These kids that are in Turning Point, they're the cool kids, okay? When I was in school, the Republicans were dorks. They were dorks. Penny loafers and khakis, and they basically dressed like Tucker Carlson. And now the MAGA kids are the cool kids, the popular kids, the good-looking kid. So that's a good thing. And Charlie Kirk, once we get through this election that's going to save our country with the re-election of the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, he could really do a lot of good work recruiting people, young conservatives, into the teaching profession from pre-K all the way through graduate school, okay? The reason that a lot of this nonsense is happening is because we've allowed liberals to take over all the teaching jobs and teaching positions. And that's why Moms of Liberty is so important. They flip school boards. They have flipped school boards from liberal loons to conservative. So we need to flip school boards and do a massive recruitment drive for conservative school teachers. And then this stuff will be stopped. Now, I certainly want to hear your thoughts on that at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, that whole incident. 1-888-465-2631. But I want to get to this major bombshell that was dropped on NewsMax. And I'll tell you this, we will follow from time to time on the show today what's going on with the hurricane, but that's not going to be our focus today. Sorry. I will say, though, Cedar Key which is just being destroyed right now, and I hope that it survives this. Cedar Key is an old Florida town, and old Florida, unless you're a Floridian, you may not even, if you haven't lived here for a long, long time or your whole life, you may not even know what old Florida means. But Cedar Key, you may have seen some videos of it in the news the last couple days because of everything that's going on. Cedar Key is what the Florida Keys used to be like back in the 80s and prior to that. Oh my goodness. I spent so much time as a kid in the Florida Keys, and it was beautiful. And what's happened to the Florida Keys in the last 20 years, it's unaffordable for regular people. They've developed it so much. It's just not the way it used to be. It's just not. But Cedar Key is still that way. And if we lose Cedar Key to this hurricane, that will be a real loss to the old Florida lifestyle that, Fort Lauderdale. I remember when I was a kid, Fort Lauderdale used to be an old Florida town. Now they built a skyscraper down there that blocks the sun over half the beach for half the day. I walked down A1A on Fort Lauderdale Beach. There's so much shade from the high-rises that are on the ocean that you get cold in the middle of the summer because of the shade. It's insane, what some of these developers are done. So let's pray for everyone, including Cedar Key. Cedar Key would be a big loss because if it gets wiped out in its current state, developers could very well come in and do to Cedar Key what they've done to a lot of great old Florida places. In the hurricane last year, Sanibel Island got hit. Sanibel Island's beautiful, but about 25 years ago, if you went to, maybe a little longer than that, 25 years or more ago, if you went to Sanibel Island, it was an old Florida town. Sanibel Island was an old Florida resort, and now it's taken over by very wealthy people and developers and everything, and it's not like it used to be. And we have very few old Florida towns and places anymore. And let's hope Cedar Key survives this. And if they're forced, hopefully they're not, but if they're forced to rebuild it, they can rebuild it based on the current way that it is. It'd be a terrible thing. All right, so let me get to this. So NewsMax, Greg Kelly, who's very well connected. Remember, his dad was the New York police commissioner, Greg Kelly. He's on at night. He's very well connected. He knows President Trump. He knows Mayor Giuliani and all the power brokers through his connections with his father in New York City. He was also on the local news for years in New York City, and he also does a radio show on WABC in New York City. So, he's a very well-connected guy, Greg Kelly. He has incredible sources, incredible information, incredible contacts that he grew up with, all right? And Greg Kelly is one of the best I've ever seen on television with the things he breaks. And he broke something last night that most people wouldn't because it's a little vague. But it's huge. This is massive. And I've never known, like Donald Trump, I've never known Greg Kelly to go public with something that was later debunked. I've never known him to be debunked ever. So I'm going to play you this audio of Greg Kelly. This is huge. This is huge. Now let me play it, and then I got some questions about it I'm going to ask you, okay? This is Greg Kelly from NewsMax.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much.
Okay, now that, to me, is pretty interesting. He's either talking, in my opinion, he's talking about Mayor Giuliani or President Trump, or someone one beat away from President Trump. Would you agree with that? I mean, that's the level sources that Greg Kelly on Newsmax has.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, well, he'll have only two options. Number one, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House. They know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one.
Wow. Okay, that's Greg Kelly on Newsmax. So a couple questions I want to ask you guys, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Who do you think his source is? My guess is it's either President Trump or Mayor Giuliani. Remember, his father was Mayor Giuliani's police commissioner, Kelly, right? Remember Commissioner Kelly? His dad cleaned up New York City, cleaned up the crime in New York City, so he's got very big connections. So who do you think Greg Kelly's source is? Donald Trump, Mayor Giuliani? It's got to be one of those two. And what do you think this tape, it's an audio tape, is of, and what does it show? And he's very confident, Greg Kelly, that it will, in the very least, result in Joe Biden announcing that he will not be seeking re-election, but it's highly likely that he'll be forced to resign from office. And I know a lot of people don't want that to happen because then we get Willie Brown's girlfriend as the president of the United States. And I'm not crazy about having Kamala Harris as the president of the United States either. But would she be better than a senile old coot that takes bribes and leaves cocaine all over the White House? What do you think? Hawaii's burning, he does nothing. I mean, can she be worse than that? Maybe. Let's hope not. But I would consider this little tape, this little drop of Greg Kelly to be a massive, massive story. And, you know, what's happened is, my guess is President Trump or Mayor Giuliani, who are always in the know on such things, this tape has become known inside these Washington political circles, and there's a process taking place, probably with Comer's hearings, with Marjorie Taylor Greene, or one of these Republican committees in the House are going through some type of due process with this particular tape. And let me tell you, for him to say with such confidence it would result in him resigning from the presidency and in the very least announcing he's not seeking re-election, this guy's as dirty gets. For them to have anything that would get Joe Biden to resign or drop out of the running, it's got to be really bad, because this guy is shameless and doesn't even believe that his crimes are crimes. Now we're going to take our last break of the first hour. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I want to hear your thoughts on all the topics I brought up so far, including helping solve the mystery of what Greg Kelly is talking about. What do you think he's referencing here? Is he talking about do they have him on the phone brokering a bribe? What do you think it could be? Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. I also want to hear your thoughts on this liberal lunatic teacher in Colorado with the Don't Tread on Me flag. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
If you're suffering suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Darren Lastovsky, DC, owner of Pivotal Health and Wellness. Dr. Lastovsky, what is neuropathy?
Did he say tapes or tape? Let me listen to it during the break.
There is an audio tape. I am told.
No, he said an audio tape. He said one. There is an audio tape right in the beginning. See?
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know.
There you go. Yeah. See, his sources are New York-based sources. That's why I say Giuliani or President Trump. I don't think he has the congressional committee sources because he's New York-based and who his father is. And I've heard him talk to the president and Giuliani. I mean, he's so tight with those guys.
Hours of responding to the advertisement for the free, discounted fee, or reduced fee service, examination, or treatment.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription.
Oh, I'm sure there's copies.
You're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Hi, it's Katie from Will For You.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited to let you in on some exciting news. Our Jupiter store has moved to a new location that's double.
You know, Lisa, does it make sense to tell people while I'm streaming about other things that are on that people might want to watch? Probably not, right?
From America's top brands and always have the best prices. From one local to another, Will For You is your hometown flooring store that has it all.
Anything else on TV people might want to watch instead of me?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'll go back to our phones in just a moment at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I want to ask you some questions. Are you sick and tired of suffering with pain? Are you burnt out taking medications to mask your pain? Maybe you're getting shots. You tired of getting shots for pain? Stop doing all that. Go see Dr. Appleton and talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. It works, guys. He's rid me of pain 5 different times from 5 different things. Some injuries and some just part of growing older. The laser wave pain treatment works. And Dr. Appleton, he's open Monday through Saturday. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays, because Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need help and you need it, the relief from that pain now. You can't wait. Now, when you call Dr. Appleton, he will text you to your cell phone directions to his office if you need them. So make sure you ask for that if you do. You can find him online at AppletonCairo.com or give him a call at 954-973-0710. And remember, with the laser wave pain treatment, there are no drugs, no shots, completely painless, no contracts like these other doctors do. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And say bye-bye to your pain. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie. I listened to you. I listened to you with this tape. If I was to guess, it would be Giuliani, Mayor Giuliani, because Mayor Giuliani is a guest frequent. I think like once a week on Greg's show.
Yeah, and he's known, and Mayor Giuliani's known Greg Kelly since he was a little kid because his father was Giuliani's commissioner.
Yeah, what people don't realize is he was the greatest mayor, the most honest prosecutor you could find. Not like that one in Atlanta, by the way, that black militant prosecutor who wants to hang our president. with the kangaroo court, but Mayor Giuliani, okay, he actually went to Ukraine, and the left-wing press and the left-wing politicians try to put his name through the mud like he was a crazy old man on a witch hunt for an honest president. And he got so much information and tapes.
Well, my guess would be, you know what I think the tape has on it? I think the tape is Biden taking a bribe. Brokering a bribe and taking a bribe. That's exactly what the tape is that Kelly's talking about.
That's why they broke into Mayor Giuliani's private office and went through everything, because they know that tape's there. But he's smart. He probably didn't have it there. He probably had it hidden. And the bottom line is that it's going to expose. He's already exposed. But for people, all you hear is Trump, 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 Trump on the media. They're crickets when it comes to what's in that White House. What's in the White House is the most corrupt piece of garbage, an old codger garbage that's actually going after the guy who actually won the last one.
Yeah.
And he's trying to.
Well, you know, this tape. See, this is an amazing thing, and thankfully we have NewsMax, because this story is not being talked about anywhere. And if a tape does exist, it's going to be NewsMax that plays it on TV first. Fox may never play it. They're so against Trump right now. Anything to hurt Trump, they're going to do. But I think I think his source is Mayor Giuliani, and I think Giuliani probably contacted him at the request of President Trump, because Greg Kelly grew up with Mayor Giuliani. He's like an uncle to him. And I think that this secret Biden tape that Greg Kelly is talking about is him brokering and taking a bribe, and that's pretty powerful.
But Brian, listen, he's being protected by the whole Democratic Party, and they all know he's a corrupt thief. So you would have to look at the Democratic Party and say, what kind of party is this?
Yes.
So infested themselves in the Justice Department going after President Trump the way they have. I mean, there are no crimes anywhere around.
Well, Obama did, when Obama was president, he did some of the largest numbers of hiring in the bureaucracy that the federal government's ever had, and the people that he hired, many of them have been there for like 15 years now, so they're in senior positions in every agency of the federal government.
And he's infested the courts now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me this judge in Atlanta is on the up and up.
No.
Really a tyrant. And by the way, her grandfather was a communist, and he was thrown in prison for trying to overthrow the government in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, when this tape comes out that Greg Kelly's talking about, and it has Joe Biden brokering and taking a bribe, the liberals and the mainstream media will still support this guy because they hate Trump so much. They'll defend it. They'll defend it.
They don't hate Trump so much. They hate you and me.
Yeah.
America.
That's right.
They're after us, man. I mean, President Trump tells you all the time, he's just the main figurehead. But they'll go through, look what they've done here. I mean, it's disgusting. People in other countries are looking at the United States saying, what the hell's going on in the United States?
That's right.
Taken over by communists, man.
It's happened.
It's done.
Yeah.
Done deal. Courts are corrupt. When you have a court like this in Atlanta, and you know, I mean, it's incredible what they're trying to do.
See, this is what the Nazis did, right? They used the courts to do what it is they wanted to do, and they had a bunch of Nazi judges so that everything looked legal, and they said it was. And this is what the liberals have done. They've packed the court between Obama, Biden, Clinton, and George Soros. They have packed not just the court, but our prosecutors nationwide, and this is the result.
Well, if you look at Sunday's shows on ABC and NBC and all that crap, they always put the Republican as a rhino. And that one guy, I forgot his name now, Raskin with the cancer.
With the one that has the pirate hat on his head all the time.
Yeah, he has cancer. His father.
He doesn't have cancer now. He's beaten cancer, and he wears the thing on his head, even though he's beaten cancer and has his hair back.
Well, his father was a commie. You know that, don't you?
Shocker.
Yeah, all of these people come from communist backgrounds. They call it Marxism. It's not Marxism, it's communism.
Well, you know what? It shows you, yet again, that Joe McCarthy was right. We are living in the world that Joe McCarthy predicted.
When I went into the Army, way when the United States was still United States, the two questions they asked me, if I could have stayed out of Vietnam if I answered one of them this way. Are you a communist? If I answered yes, you were not going into the Army. And the other, are you a homosexual? If you said yes, you were not going into the Army. That was back in 1969. And that's the way the United States was back then.
You were in Vietnam the same year as my dad. Maybe you made a meal for my dad. The thing about it, if you went in, that would disqualify you if you were a gay communist in 1969 for military service. If you said today that you are a gay communist, they'd make you an officer.
Oh, you put your address. They got
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, the guy Levine is in their address, and he's a man. He's in his.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Richie. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You're talking about this tape and what it might mean, and them possibly going to tell him to resign. The problem with that is this guy is so arrogant and so condescending that he's going to say no not to resigning.
Mm-hmm.
They've already said they didn't want him to run, and he's already announced that he's going to run. So,
well, Greg Kelly knows this, and he knows a little bit about what's on the tape, and certainly the person who gave him this information, who was either Trump or Giuliani or both, know what is on the tape and are familiar with its content. So it must be pretty bad for Greg Kelly to make that kind of announcement.
Well, yeah, but that's the deal. That brings me back to my theory about them. If they don't get him to resign, if he doesn't resign and he's going to run again, then the only thing left for them to do is the impeachment / trial.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Pompano.
Hey, Pompano. Speak up.
Okay. I think there's two things I was thinking of. The tape caught him speaking with his son and laughing about how much money they're getting, how much they're ripping off the government and this and that. Just disgusting. Or a tape of him using the N-word.
You took it right. You took it. I was about to say that to you. He could, it could be a tape of him using the N-word to describe Barack Obama.
Well, I don't know about that, but just use it in such a negative way that all I want is their vote.
The more we, now that you say that out loud, I was just about to say that to you as you said it. Great minds. But you said it first, so you get credit. No, I don't want to take your credit away. You said it first. Democrats will put up with a lot, but if the secret tape that Greg Kelly is talking about is Joe Biden using the N-word, that would be a pressure put on him by Democrats, by liberals that we've never seen put on a Democrats. That would be if they had. If it's tape of him taking bribes, they'll defend it. Oh, statute of limitations long ago. He needed the money. He's got a troubled son with a habit. But using the N-word, they would not excuse that. So I think it's more likely it was the N-word than taking a bribe.
I don't know, but it would be great. He would lose the black vote finally once and for all.
Oh, yes. All right, Pompano, good to hear from you. Wow. Great calls today. Starting off with some very good calls. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. No matter where you're listening to us, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back, we'll recap the stories I've already touched on, and there's more going on too. We'll get into some other stories as well. But if it's a tape of Biden using the N-word, do you think that would get him to resign? in particular if he's using the N-word in a discussion about Barack Obama. We know Joe Biden does not like black people. He's a racist. And in a conversation like this, the N-word, would the N-word be a bridge too far for the Democrats to support? We'll be right back.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rogues Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rogues, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We continue to track Idalia, making landfall later on this morning as a major hurricane across the Big Bend. For South Florida today, gusty winds, tropical storm force, variably cloudy and very humid with an off chance of a strong storm. I'm WPBF 25 First Morning.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Palm Beach Community still in great shape this morning on the expressways. 95 on the Turnpike remaining crash-free, moving up to full speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter. 95 northbound before Forest Hill Boulevard, a disabled vehicle has the right shoulder blocked. Also on the northbound side after Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, the right shoulder is blocked by a disabled vehicle. In West Palm Beach, we have a multi-vehicle crash on Kirkwood at Pot of Gold Street. This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away, and when you see the green check, you know the part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. That's traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is the county's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks, and this weekend, bet on exciting races like the Kentucky Downs Million Mint, Del Mar's $1 Million Pacific Classic, Saratoga's $1 Million Jockey Club Gold Cup, and much more. Visit the Paddock Restaurant with over 180 new HD TVs and big screens, plus exceptional dining and drinks. The Paddock is also your best bet for comedy, music, and dinner shows. For a full schedule of events, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
Now, I'm in Patera, now blowing at 130 miles an hour. Hurricane Idalia.
Just reading over a couple stories, guys.
Category 4 storm.
Idalia has been supercharged by the warm Gulf waters, and the expectation now is that it will reach Category 4 status, meaning top sustained winds of at least 130 miles per hour. The storm's slight left turn has taken the anticipated landfall zone east of Tallahassee into the relatively sparsely populated section of Florida's Big Bend region.
ABC's Jim Ryan in Tampa. Evacuation orders up in 22 Florida counties. The governor warning people in this part of Florida have never seen a storm like Idalia.
You have to go back to the 1800s before you could see a path like this. And so those coastal areas there, not necessarily been through this before.
Coastal communities are at the highest risk, but inland residents, people as far as Georgia and the Carolinas, also bracing. ABC's Em Nguyen also reporting from Tampa. This is ABC News.
Blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks Dayquil High Blood Pressure for max-strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. Dayquil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks Dayquil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use it
Love the outdoors and the open road? Don't miss RV Hour. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World second generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Dwayne Adams. RV Hour. Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies Channel.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. I want to do a quick recap, and then we're going to go to the phones for people that are just tuning in. By the way, just an update on the hurricane. I mean, this is bad. This is one of the worst hurricanes I remember hitting Florida, 130 miles an hour. Luckily, it's not in the part of Florida that I'm in, but it's a bad one. So pray for everyone up in the northern part of our great state that they get through this, guys, okay? Because it's a bad one. Okay, so Greg Kelly made a huge announcement on NewsMax. Now, Greg Kelly is my favorite on NewsMax, and he has been for a long, long time. They moved his time slot till 10 o'clock, and I miss him at 7 because it's past my bedtime. But he dropped something big. And remember, now Greg Kelly's father was New York City Police Commissioner Kelly. He's very close to Mayor Giuliani. He's also close to Trump. Greg Kelly is very well connected in the Trump orbit through Mayor Giuliani and because of his father. So he has great sourcing. So let me play this again, and then we'll go to the phones and speculate. Our last caller before the top of the hour, I think, hit the nail on the head. This is Greg Kelly, huge bombshell about Joe Biden.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, he'll have only two options. Number one, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House. They know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one.
Okay. Now, I'm starting to think more. He says before Halloween, this tape will become public. President Trump said in one of his recent speeches that in October, his rallies are going to fire up full steam again. So we're going to get weekend rallies every weekend starting in October. Maybe it's not one of the committees. Maybe President Trump is going to drop this tape. Remember, he dropped some stuff. Remember, he dropped that photograph of Ron DeSantis with the high school girls when he was a teacher, with them surrounding him, pressing their boobs up against Governor DeSantis. Remember that? President Trump may be the person who has the tape and is going to release the tape. Now, the caller before the break said the tape very well may have Joe Biden using the N-word. You think it's him brokering and taking a bribe, or do you think it's the N-word? All right, let's go to our phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? Yep. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. My name is Kay. I live in Hollywood.
Yes, Kay.
So much love Donald Trump. You can't even imagine. I'm really having a problem with my stomach since this situation happened with Donald Trump. But I just want to, I promise you, Obama already have a plan. Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama is going to be the next president. God help us.
I am telling you, that is all the plan they have. They don't care for anything. Michelle, everybody's going to be shocked. They already have the plan for Michelle. And they're very quiet about it.
Well, who would you rather have as president, right? Michelle Obama or Willie Brown's girlfriend? Do you have any speculation on what could be on this tape?
I have no idea what's going on. These people are so sneaky. You don't know what they're doing. But I know it's that in my gut. Michelle Obama is going to be the next president. I don't know what happened to Pamela. Maybe she'll stay vice president.
Oh, let's hope not. I hope you're wrong.
I hope to God.
That would be awful.
It is awful, but that's the plan.
Okay, yeah.
Plan from the day we got this stupid president.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The plan.
Yep. All right, well, thank you for your call from Hollywood, Florida. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
Okay, so if you remember back when James Comer came out with a lot of the information on what happened over in Ukraine, he said that there were tapes out there. of Joe accepting these bribes. So I'm almost positive it's going to be that. They were in the process, he said he was in the process of trying, back when they were trying to get that document from the FBI, when they finally got to see it, it made mention of the guy made recordings because he might need it for the future. So I'm sure a lot of what's going to come out are all about these bribes that Joe Biden has accepted, and it's going to prove that he was, on the take and he's corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Most positive.
Well, okay, now slow down on that, because that's okay. Because Greg Kelly said corruption. So that's where we get bribe from. If there is an audio tape of Joe Biden clearly taking a bribe, remember Abscam, remember all that? Oh my goodness, that wasn't even real. Those were undercover FBI agents dressed as Arabs, right? Can you say Arabs anymore? I haven't heard that in a while. It's an old word. But anyway, if there's a tape of Joe Biden brokering and taking a bribe, what do you think the media reaction would be? The CNNers and MSNBCers and Fox Newsers on this. How would this play out in the media? Do you think they would?
Thing, Brian. They're gonna try to stonewall. They're gonna try to cover it. It's be crickets. But you know what? I think it's going to be so damning that eventually you've heard little bits and pieces of everyone saying that the media is going to come down and the corrupted people are going to all come down on it. So I'm sure whatever is on those tapes is very damning.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it. And I just want to say one more thing. I hear people talking about Michelle Obama becoming our president. This woman or this person, I don't want to go there, but I'm going to call her a person, has never had a job, all right? No political, never held office. I don't know how anybody can think that she has any qualifications to be a...
Well, qualifications. No, who other than Trump? Who's qualified for that? I don't think Michelle's going to do it because she's never had a job. She doesn't want to have to work. She's never worked in her life. And she knows how hard it is to work in a campaign and all that. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
That you would think that if she had any aspirations to be president, she'd be out there. You don't hear anything from her. You barely hear anything from Obama. So I really don't think that that's going to happen. But you mark my word, whatever is going to come out is going to be related to whatever they found on that 23.
Yeah. Yep.
Make men.
Well. Now this is what now here's another thing. What is now again, we're all just being a bunch of detectives here, Columbos and Sherlock Holmes and stuff, okay? I mean, because what we got from Greg Kelly was a little cryptic. I think that the tape in question very well may not be with one of the committees. It could be something President Trump is going to release himself. What do you think it's more likely it's like from Comer's committee, or do you think this is a tape that President Trump has uncovered? Remember, Giuliani had the laptop.
See, I really don't know that Trump's going to do it because whether that's all part of classified documents and him having information and sharing, top secret or that would absolutely affect our national security.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah.
Would they turn around and try to go after him if he did something like that at one of his rallies? Probably. They'd probably say, oh, that's a national security threat, and, he
yep.
does, and, so I don't know that it's going to be Trump. I guarantee you it's going to have something to do, because they're saying a lot about when Congress comes back from their vacation, that a lot of heads.
Well, that's any day. They're coming back any day. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. I'm going to replay in a bit the incredible bombshell news that Greg Kelly made on NewsMax. But also, I got another clip. President Trump dropped something huge yesterday. Huge. I'm going to play that for you, too, coming up. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name's Brian. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE1.
Yep.
This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell.
Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
But the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. Here you see your home right from the palm of your hand. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use the low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a back.
NewsMax is awesome. Thankfully, we have them.
First 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283-5050. You'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens. We're so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started their first health food store in 1972, and ever since have been one of the largest locally owned family-run health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo, and organic, as well as health and beauty aids, pet foods, and more. Visit Vanessa, Trish, Denson, Scott, and Bruce. They're here 7 days a week for all your family's natural health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PG Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmines Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626-4377. Or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government, I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, well, he'll have only 2 options. Number 1, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House. They know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one.
Wow, maybe more than one tape. So what do you think is on this tape? I believe it exists. because Greg Kelly reported it, and he has great sources. Most of the callers so far said they think it's a bribe. We've had one caller that I think this is a good possibility too. It's Biden using the N-word, because you got to think, what's going to drive him out of office? What would drive Biden out of office? Because Democrats will defend almost anything that their people do. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's the number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Carl in Columbus.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, good morning. I think it's a possibility that these prosecutions and raids on attorneys, confiscating cell phones from like Mike Lindell and all these attorneys and everyone in the Trump orbit is a kind of a roundabout way of looking for this tape. I almost think that these prosecutions are like the secondary motive. You know, there's something that's really damaging that they're.
Well, what do you think is on this tape? What would be your guesses?
Well, I think it probably incriminates Obama too, and you know maybe Biden was just the middleman. You know, you know maybe I mean you're right. He could be using the N-word and.
Well, see, we got, the thing that gets me thinking in that direction, we got to think, what is so bad that Democrats wouldn't stand behind and defend it? Because Greg Kelly seems very confident that whatever it is, it's so bad it'll force him to announce, without a doubt, that he's not running for re-election, and probably force him out of the White House. So it's got to be something really bad, because Democrats will defend anything. But the N-word, they wouldn't. That's why I think the N-word pops in my mind, because that's something that the Democrats would not defend.
I mean, it had to have happened while he was vice president. While Biden was, because that
yes
is dealing with all.
It has to be yes, and it has to be, and it's yes. I would say it's within the vice presidential period. Yes.
Right, but I think. I think Obama's involved, big time. I think he maybe even got more money than Biden did off this stuff. So, because he appointed all those people over there.
Well, if he was involved in a private conversation and used the N-word in relation to Barack Obama, he'd be done. That is the kind of thing. That'd be it.
So I think it's one of the two, I think.
Well, it could be both. He could be taking a bribe and using the N-word describing Obama. He could do, but this guy's a sleaze. People forget what Joe Biden was like when he had his wits about him. He was a nasty, nasty man. Now he's just a senile old coot that doesn't know who he is.
He was mentored by all those former KKK guys.
Mm-hmm.
All those heroes, like Robert Byrd, and, they were all in the KKK when they were young,
Listen. Robert Byrd was in the KKK the day he died. Yeah.
So
I know so. Yeah. He just cleaned up his act a little bit because it wasn't acceptable publicly anymore. He wasn't just in the KKK. He was a Grand Kleagle, which was a major leadership and recruitment position. Some people believe that he was buried in the sheets, wearing the sheets. I'm not kidding. I'm not. I know it sounds fun. I'm not kidding.
Oh man. Well, anyway, that's just what I thought.
Okay. All right. From Columbus, Ohio. Thanks so much. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian from Louisiana.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, I think you were right about the raid at Giuliani, and I think about the raid at Mar-a-Lago too. They were looking for them tapes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So, they broke into Giuliani's apartment and they broke into Mar-a-Lago. So you think that they broke into Remember when they went to Mar-a-Lago, when they broke into Mar-a-Lago, they brought a safecracker with them to break into President Trump's personal safe, which was empty. So this tape that Greg Kelly's talking about, you think they were looking for in President Trump's safe at Mar-a-Lago in Giuliani's apartment in New York?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Because they know he can keep them documents. There's no reason for the FBI to come raid his house. It just hit me when you said about when Greg Kelly had them tapes and it hit me. I said, well, that's one reason why they went to Mar-a-Lago. I think they went to go find them tapes.
Wow, I mean, I tell you, people in this audience, you guys are smart. I mean, you really put the pieces together. I hadn't gotten that far in the puzzle yet. That makes perfect sense. And a tape at this level is the kind of thing you would keep locked in a safe.
And Trump is smarter than that to keep stuff there anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That's interesting. Do you think the tape is about bribery of Biden taking bribes, or do you think it's him using the N-word? What do you think it could be?
It's probably both.
Both.
They got all kinds of. Yeah, they probably got all kinds of stuff on him.
See, a bribe, I don't think a bribe would be enough. I think the Democrats would ignore and make excuses and even defend taking a bribe.
You can't defend him saying the N-word.
Correct. That's like a taboo. That's the only taboo the Democrats have in Western civilization today. That's the only taboo.
Biden's a racist, so.
Yes.
But party's hiding it up, so.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well.
At the end, good wins.
Yep. That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you for your call. Great calls today. Our number, by the way, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Yeah, man. You know, I think that last caller hit it right on the head, perhaps. But this is really going to be interesting. I'm wondering why to win. I know they told the surprise, but man, we're all on the edge of our seats now, wanting to know what happened here. But this is going to be really interesting. I'm sure they're all sitting around brainstorming. What are we going to do? How are we going to get out of this one? And they probably have some sort of excuses coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Doug, take care. Yeah, real quick. I'm up against the break. 5 seconds.
Okay. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Tell me tomorrow. Okay, he got nervous. 5 seconds made him nervous. All right, now also, Steve will be joining us after the break. I'll replay this Greg Kelly bombshell, but President Trump dropped something huge yesterday. I haven't shared that with you yet. You'll hear from President Trump, too, coming up. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
Wow. That one caller who said he thinks that's why they broke into Mar-a-Lago and Giuliani's house. What do you guys think about that? That sounds like a good possibility. I think it's more than a bribe. It's more than a bribe. Somebody just said in the chat they already have bragging about the Ukrainian bribe on C-SPAN. That is true. I believe so, yeah. But this is still not working. I mean, it's just one day. It's not, the end of the world. But I haven't touched anything other than what I normally would. What's the input for that?
I mean, it looks like it still is behind this.
I don't think so. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. It's just ahead of it. Okay. Looks good.
spectacular ocean breezes, and so much more. Don't miss your last chance to break away to the Bahamas with cruises for two starting at $99. Book today at margaritavillagec.com.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our values and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At Laporta Contracting, family is what we are, and roofing and restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers to a successful outcome by constantly informing them every step of the way. At Laporta Contracting, let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or visit us on our website at laportacontracting.com. That number again is 954-604-4602.
Cataract surgery season. Middleman Eye Center is offering the next level experience in IV-free cataract surgery. New technology, new lenses, and a new office-based surgery experience awaits you. Contact Middleman Eye Center. Call or text 561-500.
Great calls today, guys.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that mean I Will Advocates? I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, we are back 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, did we lose you, Steve? Let's try again. Once, twice. You with us, Steve? There you are. We got you. That's okay. We got you. All right, now today, yeah. Well, let me do a recap first for people tuning in. Okay. Today is just a major news day, okay? And I'm not talking about the hurricane, and I just, right now, I know the hurricane's very bad and everything else, but, and we're praying for our fellow Floridians that are being hit by the storm. However, there's some big news going on. Greg Kelly on NewsMax, whose father was Commissioner Kelly of the New York City Police Department, who cleaned up New York City with America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani. He has the best show on NewsMax, and he dropped a bombshell about, I'm going to mute you, Steve, while I play the tape. He dropped a bombshell about a tape. I've been playing this throughout the day. I want to play this for people that are just tuning in. This is huge, guys. Listen, this is Greg Kelly on NewsMax.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government, I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, he'll have only two options. Number one, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House. They know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one.
Oh boy, huge stuff. All right, so what are your thoughts, Steve?
Well, as I say, I don't have the answer, but I think I have the key. The key is the Halloween deadline, where he mentions that it'll be out by Halloween.
Uh-huh.
What item would be okay after Halloween that's not okay before Halloween?
Well, it's going to be before Halloween. He said Halloween's the last day of October, so he said in September, by the end of October. Well, the only thing I know is President Trump has said that in October, the Trump rallies are going to come back full swing, which means every weekend. But other than that, I don't know.
Something about Trump. It's got to be something about Biden.
Well, what's in October with Biden? I don't know.
I don't know either, but if you get the answer to that.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. I believe this came, I think Greg Kelly's source is Giuliani, and I think this is something that President Trump had Giuliani give to Greg Kelly. And I think the reason we're hearing about October is it's kind of like an October surprise, but in this October, not next October. And it's a great scandal like this is a great way for Trump to launch his hardcore campaign rallies. So I think the timing would have to do with that. Now, the Congress is out of session until a week or two away. Okay, they're out of session right now. So it could be that it's connected to a congressional committee, and since Congress is not in session right now, that's the timing. I don't know. But do you have any speculation on what could be on the tape that would rise to this level?
I do not, but I don't believe that it's something. I don't believe that the N-word qualifies, because I think the people on the bigoted left, I don't think are all that uptight about using.
Oh yeah. Oh no, not a white guy using it about Obama. Yeah, no, that would be something that would be too much. But I don't think it's the N-word, at least not alone, because the way he says it in the beginning. Let me play just the beginning of it again from Greg Kelly.
It's an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption.
Okay, corruption. So that's why I lean on bribe, because he says corruption. The N-word's not corruption, that's just racism. So when he says corruption, that's why I lean towards bribe. But the only reason I sprinkle in the N-word is it's got to be something that would rise to the level that the Democrats could not defend. The Democrats will defend almost anything. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why wait? Why wait? Timing is everything. And if President, the one caller earlier that said he thinks that this tape may have been what they were looking for at Mar-a-Lago during the raid last year, that makes a lot of sense. Or the break-in at Mayor Giuliani's apartment in New York, I could definitely see that. Well, when he says corruption, that's why I lean towards bribe. But we don't know. But President Trump is, if it's President Trump who has the tape, has the information, or his camp, President Trump, what he is best at is media manipulation, driving news cycles, and timing is everything on these things. So, yeah, and you want to drop something that's this scandalous. We've got Jim Jordan has the weaponization of government committee, and then we have Comer's committee that's investigating the bribes and everything. Congress is out of session for another week or two. Sometime in September they come back in session. I can't remember the exact date. So those committees are not in session. So you wouldn't release it now. You want to release it when these committees are in session, so that they can deal with it and deal with it right away. So I think it's got I think the timing of it has to do with the Republican House being back in session and the Trump rallies, because when he comes back full strength with the Trump rallies in October, as he said, that's kind of really the official campaign start, right? That's when we're really in the campaign. And that's what I think's going on. Now, let me give out the number. Now, you guys out there, we've had some great detective work done in this audience so far, putting together some of these cryptic pieces together. Our number's 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I'd very much like to hear from you in the listening audience what your thoughts are. You know, it's an amazing thing, Steve. When this tape comes out, the Democrats will try to defend it and says it means nothing. But blank tape on Richard Nixon, that's everything. Silence on tape, that's everything. He's got to go to prison for the silence on the tape. But Biden actually doing things on tape, that they'll defend. These people. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine. Good morning.
Hey, Jeff.
Brian. Good morning. Hey, I tend to believe personally that it has something to do with the massive voter fraud. January 6th.
No way. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because first of all, I'll tell you why I don't think so. At that particular time, Joe Biden wasn't in the loop of anything. First off, he doesn't know if he's got his left shoe on the right foot or not. You know what I mean? So he wouldn't be involved in any of that. He was just a bystander, pedestrian during all of that. To me, this goes back to when he was vice president and he was doing all this bribery. And you got to remember, Joe Biden was doing. This is a true story. What I'm telling you here, okay? Joe Biden was doing so much corruption in the White House as vice president that Obama told him he had to stop having meetings at the White House because there were of the visitor logs. So he started doing the meetings at his house and stuff, and in restaurants and hotels and things like this. So I think based on the tone from Greg Kelly, this is back when he was Obama's vice president. And that's what I think about. So far as January 6th, Joe Biden can't even put his pants on, okay, by himself. So he wouldn't be involved in January 6th. That's too complex. No, he wouldn't be. And plus, at that point, he was president-elect, and having a recording of a president-elect is a lot different than having a recording from a vice president in his house while you're doing a crooked deal.
The only reason I believe that it had something to do with the 2020 election.
Hold on, Jeff. Yeah, he can hear you.
The one thing they're not even speculating about is how they plan on getting rid of Kamala.
Oh, that's not even on the. There's no. She would be the president, Steve. That would be it. She'd be the. Well, yeah, you can't skip her over. It's the Constitution, Steve. You can't skip her over. We don't like her. She had sex with married men. We can't make her. You know, she's next in line. You just can't step over her. She'd be the president if Joe Biden resigned. That's the Constitution. You can't just bypass her.
Well, I mean, unless they can pressure.
No, you're gonna get the president and the vice president to resign. I don't think so. I don't think so. No, that would make Kamala the president. If he resigned, it would make her the president. You can't pass her over.
Mine doesn't compute that phrase.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to imagine. But that's what would happen. The shortest president in history. She'd make history. Shortest president we've ever had. Well, listen, whatever it is, Greg Kelly seems to know a little bit more than he's letting on. And for him to make such a bold statement like that, I think it's pretty powerful, and we should take it as a very serious thing. Now, we want to continue to take your calls with your speculation and your thoughts on all of that. But when we get back from this break, I have a piece of audio of President Trump. President Trump dropped something huge yesterday, and I'm going to share it with you when we get back. I've not even referenced it on the program today, but you'll hear the audio when we get back. Our number is 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll be back right after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hey, it's 2 men in a truck.
Good morning. I'm man number 1.
And I'm man number 2.
You're right on time.
We're the movers who care. We can handle all your move and packing needs across town or across the country.
Don't forget, we offer climate-controlled storage.
I'm so glad you're here. My last movers caused me a lot of grief. Now I can relax.
We move people forward. Find us at twomenpalmbeach.com.
and twomentreasurepost.com.
Two men and a truck.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues, please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them, and we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
Hi, it's Scott Simmons from Florida Weekly. You might think real estate prices are going crazy, but experts say they're holding steady, and that's a good thing. Demetrius Klein Dance starts its 37th season with new leadership. A Miami City ballet dancer makes her home in Palm Beach County, and our 3 for 3 offers a trio of restaurants where you can catch a breeze. Read these and other stories in Florida Weekly, available throughout Palm Beach County, available online at floridaweekly.com.
Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise, and you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave.
Steve lives about a 2-hour drive from the radio station. That's why we're not in the same studio. And after the show, it would take him about 2.5 hours to get home with the traffic. So, yeah, that's why we're not in the same studio. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here. You back, Steve? Okay, of course. Where else would you be? So before I play this tape, President Trump just dropped a huge thing yesterday. It was pretty massive, and I'm going to share it with you in a moment. But I just want to mention quickly about our cruise. You know, our 5th annual cruise is April 27th on the Celebrity Beyond, and I just want to say a couple things about it. One, our group is a private group. That's why we can, we don't have these liberal jerks hanging out with us for a week. You know what I mean? We have a private. To be a part of our group, you have to call our travel agent, Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, and book through him. Okay? If you book outside of our travel agent, you're not in our group, and you can't participate with our group or our shipboard activities. Okay? Because we have a private group. It's very important. I'm going to give you Ian's number in a moment. Also, I want to tell you guys, this ship is filling up, and certain cabin sizes and everything. I made a change in your cabin, Steve. I got you that huge, massive cabin that's the size of a penthouse for you. You know, yeah. Steve has a massive cabin, and Steve, you've got the biggest bathroom like on the ship in your cabin. I mean, it's probably bigger than your bathroom in your home, but it's true. Oh yeah, I mean you've got Steve has a massive cabin. Me, I sleep with the crew. I got a little hammock with the little ropes going from some hooks, and that's me. But yeah, no. I've got a nice cabin too. Not as nice as Steve's though. Steve has a massive cabin, and But anyway, you can have a massive cabin too. You got to call Ian. But let me tell you, I called Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot because I made some changes. I have my cabin, and I got a second cabin too. My daughter comes, and she brings a friend, so I got a cabin for her and her friend. And then when I made the change to make sure Steve got this the Billy Zane suite, Billy Zane from Titanic, You know, Steve's got the Billy Zane suite, and I made a change in my cabin and my daughter's cabin. Certain cabin sizes and classes are filling up, okay? So you want to make your reservation now. If you already have a reservation and you think you're going to make some changes to your cabin, call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and make those changes now, okay? I was lucky I called when I did, or you wouldn't have gotten that mansion of a cabin in the Billy Zane suite that you're staying in, Steve, on our cruise. Also, you can only book to be in our group when you book through our travel agent, or you cannot take part in our activities on or off the ship, including our shore excursions. Here's Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. His number 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Okay, so President Trump was on Glenn Beck's show yesterday. And Glenn Beck asked a great question. And, you know, a Trump interview is not an easy interview. People think it's an easy interview. It's not an easy interview. And what makes a Trump interview a difficult interview is you want to ask him something that he hasn't asked and answered 10,000 times, right? You know? And that's what made that Tucker interview so good, is he asked President Trump a lot of questions he had never been asked before. And Glenn Beck, he asked him a question that no one's asked him before either. And it's a pretty good one. So let me just play this for you. This is President Trump on with Glenn Beck yesterday.
And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
Well, I'll give you an example. The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us.
Okay, did you hear what he said? And there was a long discussion before about the lock her up with Hillary Clinton. So Glenn Beck said, when you're in your second term, are you going to lock people up? He says, I have no choice. So that's a yes. So Steve, we're in a place now in this country that it's so surreal, isn't it? I mean, it's hard to believe we are where we are at.
We've been in this place for a while, and it's very scary.
I disagree with you. I don't think we've been in this place for a while. This is a new level. The mugshot of President Trump in Fulton County took us to a new level that we've never been in before. Right? I mean, we had a president of the United States booked with a mugshot, and it was very public. And on Wednesday next week, a week from today, is his arraignment in Fulton County. Okay, so and that's going to be on television. So we're in a new era now, and President Trump, draining the swamp has taken on all new meaning, because it looks like, you know, the FBI are kind of like a secret government, aren't they? You know, I saw a congressman on television the other day, and he said that the FBI, they're building a new headquarters, and he stopped funding for half of it. They were building a headquarters larger than the Pentagon, which I thought the Pentagon was like the biggest building in the world. At least it used to be. Why would they need a place so big? Because they're the government. This weaponization of not just government, but the weaponization of our legal system. And what President Trump is talking about right there is these criminal, they call them actors all the time on TV, you know, these criminal actors in our government, which would be the Attorney General, the entire Justice Department, inside the White House, that there's so many different crimes going on right now that there will have to be arrest and prosecutions of people. It's easy to tell. I mean, we got deranged Jack Smith, we've got Fannie, we got Merrick Garland.
Well, they no longer seem to feel, as I experience it, they no longer seem to feel the obligation to cover it up. They're more.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know. You know, that's a good question. Do they not feel a need to cover things up, or are they so desperate in a panic state because they see how popular Trump is, that they're just, things are public because they're in such a panic, they're trying to stop him so hard that they're not taking the time to cover up because they're just in a total meltdown panic attack.
Clear cut and so obvious that that's probably the main factor in keeping up the pretense.
Yes.
Because they know they can't get away with it unnoticed.
Yeah.
Because people are going to notice anything this large.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to hear what you all think about all these things. And when he talks about arresting people, President Trump, who's he talking about? Who is he talking about in particular? And it's got to be people in leadership positions. He goes on in this tape. Let me play the rest of this because he gets a little more specific. This is President Trump on Glenn Beck yesterday.
And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
Well, I'll give you an example. The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us. I always had such great respect for the office of the president, the presidency, and but the office of the president, and I never hit Biden as hard as I could have. And then I heard he was trying to indict me, and it was him that was doing it. You know, I don't think he's sharp enough to think about much, but he was there, and he was probably the one giving the order, but he was, hard to believe that he even thinks about that because he's gone. But then I said, well, they're actually trying to indict me because every one of these indictments is him, including Bragg. Bragg put his top people, I don't know if you know this, he put his top person into the office of the Manhattan District Attorney. They've been in total coordination with Fannie Willis. The woman that I never met that they accused me of rape, that's being run by a Democrat operative and paid for by the Democrat Party. So many of these things. I have a couple of other lawsuits, all funded against me by the Democrat. These are sick people. These are evil people.
Okay. So when you get then that's the end of it. He only talks about one person in that, and that's Joe Biden, who he says signed off and is behind all of this, including Bragg in New York. So Steve, when he talks about locking people up, he says I have no choice. You got to. They're doing it to me, and then he only talks about Biden. He's talking about charging Biden with crimes. Isn't that what it sounds like to you? Paranoid. How can you be paranoid? All this stuff's happening. It's kind of surreal. It's definitely surreal. But I think he's talking about charging and arresting Joe Biden is what it sounds like to me when you hear that. It's a terrible thing. I mean, we shouldn't have to be at this point. And the Democrats have brought us to a point that this country has never been in before. I hear people whenever they talk about the debt ceiling and all this stuff, the media are always talking about the good faith and credit of the United States. Well, what about the good faith and reputation of our system of government? I mean, if our democracy is so fragile as it looks, where presidents are getting arrested in mugshots, and they're talking about arresting the current president, the past president, and the next one's been arrested. I mean, what does that do around the world in confidence for the United States? It's got to do one thing and one thing only: take the confidence away. All right, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian, it's Eddie from Virginia. How are you today?
All right, Eddie.
Yeah, I missed a lot of your program today. Unfortunately, my schedule changed a little bit. Did you just play a tape of President Trump, them coming after him, right?
He said he was President Trump was asked by Glenn Beck. You talked about lock her up with Hillary. In your second term, will you be locking people up? And he said, yes, I have no choice.
Right. So I have a question for you about that, if you could talk about it a little bit. I mean, the president is supposed to be completely independent of the DOJ or vice versa, whichever one it is. DOJ isn't supposed to take their marching orders from the president, right? So how is that going to work out? Because once he gets back in, then technically it becomes illegal or immoral or whatever you want to call it for him to say go after that person.
Well, he would have to make someone like Mayor Giuliani, who's of the same mind on these topics and subjects and people, as the Attorney General, and they would do it.
Okay. But then the Democrats will still bloody murder.
The Democrats are always, listen, the Democrats are always going to scream bloody murder. Okay? They're always doing that on everything. So we can't let that be the standard. They're screaming bloody murder now. When are the Democrats?
Do we want to scream bloody murder, or do we want them to scream bloody murder?
Yeah. Exactly.
The way I see it.
Exactly. But I think Giuliani is a favorite either to be the Attorney General or somebody that he recruits. Because, I mean, who could we put in that job that would do what's got to be done according to that comment from Trump? Listen, we're all out of time for the hour. Great call. Thanks so much. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach. WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We continue to track Idalia, making landfall later on this morning as a major hurricane across the Big Bend. For South Florida today, gusty winds, tropical storm force, variably cloudy and very humid with an off chance of a strong storm. I'm WPBF 25 First Morning
Weather brought to you by
Shaw.
Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
95 northbound rental Hyperlux still loaded. Disabled vehicles don't have the off-ramp partially affected. Just be sure to use caution on your approach to the scene. I-95 and the Turnpike are both crash free at this time and largely moving up to speed. We are starting to see the usual buildup still on 95 heading northbound from Deerfield Beach into Boca. Also right now on Jog Road north and southbound passing Yamato Road, just a little bit slow there. The surface streets are crash free at this time. This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Summer is winding down, but business needs keep ramping up. Check out Indeed, the all-in-one hiring solution that helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply. That's Traffic Workers Bar.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is the county's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks, and this weekend, bet on exciting races like the Kentucky Downs Million Bet, Del Mar's $1 Million Pacific Classic, Saratoga's $1 Million Jockey Club Gold Cup, and much more. Visit the Paddock Restaurant with over 180 new HD TVs and big screens, plus exceptional dining and drinks. The Paddock is also your best bet for comedy, music, and dinner shows. For a full schedule of events, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News now. I'm Inez de la Quatera. Now blowing at 130 miles an hour. Hurricane Idalia is now aimed at Florida's Big Bend. Category 4 storm.
Idalia has been supercharged by the warm Gulf waters, and the expectation now is that it will reach Category 4 status, meaning top-sustained winds of at least 130 miles per hour. The storm's slight left turn has taken the anticipated landfall zone east of Tallahassee into the relatively sparsely populated section of Florida's Big Bend region.
ABC's Jim Ryan in Tampa. Evacuation orders up in 22 Florida counties.
The governor warning people in this part of Florida have never seen a storm like Idalia.
You have to go back to the 1800s before you would see a path like this. And so those coastal areas there, not necessarily been through this before.
Coastal communities are at the highest risk, but inland residents, people as far as Georgia and the Carolinas, also bracing.
ABC's M. Wynn also reporting from Tampa. This is ABC News. My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vic Stayquil high blood pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. Dayquil high blood pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free,
Joe
and
Biden is not only
decongestant-free.
dumb and incompetent, I believe that he has gone mad, a stark raving lunatic with his horrible and country-threatening environmental open borders and DOJ, FBI.
The outdoors and the open road. Don't miss RV Hour, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World second generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Dwayne Adams. RV Hour, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies channel.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with...
All right, big news day today, guys, and we're not talking about the hurricane. You back with us, Steve? Okay, all right, okay. No, you are. You're back. Okay, now I've got something else just came to me during the break from President Trump, okay? And I'm going to do these in an order because if you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot. And a lot has broken so far as Trump and Biden and everything else that's going on right now, okay? And this is obviously is being driven by Trump. Trump is behind all of this because there's 3 clips. 2 of them are of him, and the one that's not him is somebody that he's closely connected to. Okay, so I want to go back. This new piece of audio that I have from President Trump is the 3rd piece to this puzzle we've gotten today, okay? I'm not going to play the Glenn Beck clip again because I played that right before the top, but I want to play the Greg Kelly clip again, and then I want to play this new audio from the president that he posted to Truth Social, okay? So Greg Kelly on NewsMax, you got to understand who he is. His dad was Giuliani's police commissioner, Commissioner Kelly, who cleaned up New York City with Mayor Giuliani, okay? Well, yeah, when New York was safe and people and families could go there on the weekends and on vacation and walk the streets and not be afraid that someone would... Yeah, I mean, I just saw a story today. Some guy lit things on fire on the subway and started throwing them at people. I mean, my goodness. But Greg Kelly is very close with Mayor Giuliani and President Trump. He's known them his whole life since he was a kid because of his father, especially Mayor Giuliani, okay? So when Greg Kelly says he has sources, it's either President Trump or Mayor Giuliani, okay? They gave him this. So let me play the Greg Kelly clip again, and then we'll share the new clip from President Trump. This is Greg Kelly on Newsmax.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, well, he'll have only 2 options. Number 1, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House. They know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one.
Okay, so that tape that he's talking about, one of our callers about an hour ago, I think, really hit something. He says that's why they probably broke into Mar-a-Lago, was looking for that tape. And if you remember, they brought a safecracker with them to break into President Trump's safe at Mar-a-Lago, which was empty. And this tape is probably what they were looking for. And so then, at the end of the last hour, I played some audio of President Trump talking to Glenn Beck, saying that he was going to have to arrest, it sounded like Joe Biden, he said. He said they're doing it. He says I have no choice. They're doing it to me. And then he goes on to how Joe Biden is behind all this stuff that's going on. So now on Truth Social, see, President Trump is ramping things up. There's his official campaign is ramping up 10,000%. You're seeing by all these things that are coming out. So here's President. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to play this clip, which is a short clip of President Trump from Truth Social, and then we'll take some calls, okay? Here's President Trump.
Crooked Joe Biden is not only dumb and incompetent, I believe that he has gone mad, a stark raving lunatic with his horrible and country-threatening environmental open borders and DOJ, FBI weaponization policies. He is a mental catastrophe that is leading our country to hell. Will end up in World War III because of this man, and for no reason whatsoever.
Okay. So, you know, President Trump, Steve, he is on the move. He's making big moves as opposed to putzing around at some little tiny debate with a bunch of wannabes and grifters. He's actually making some of the biggest moves. It is, people are so accustomed to Trump I don't think they remember what it used to be like. We've never had a Republican who stood up to these people before. That's one of the reasons they fight so hard against him. And he's not just fighting back, he's taking offensive action right now with this, right? This is unheard of with Republicans. Unheard of. It's like the British in the Revolution, where the brightest clothes they could possibly wear and then march in straight lines in open fields. That's how, what do they call those rules, Steve? The Marquess of Queensberry rules. That's how the Republicans before Trump, that's how they handled themselves in political seasons, and that's why they were losers so much. And President Trump stands up to them and goes on the offense like he's doing right now. All right, let's take some calls. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
Andrea, how are you? I agree with that caller. I believe that's why they rated Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. What do you think is on this tape?
Brian, like, it could be anything with Joe Biden. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was him saying, I'll sell you the United States for $100 million. Like, that would not shock me at all. But I will say that if it gets to a point where Joe Biden is forced to resign and they put Kamala Harris in, you're going to really see what a potential psychopath Kevin McCarthy is. Because I would not put it past him at all to invoke the 25th and remove her and declare himself king.
He can't do that. There's no mechanism to do that. That can't happen. He cannot invoke the 25th. The 25th Amendment is only for the vice president. What would happen is Willie Brown's girlfriend, some call her heels up Kamala, Kamala Harris. You not heard that before? You're laughing like you never heard that before. Wasn't that funny? But I'll take the laugh. That's okay. Yeah. Well, hey. But anyway, there's no 25th Amendment. It can only be used by the vice president. So what would happen is she would nominate someone to be vice president, and that would have to go through the House, not the Senate, if I remember correctly from Ford when he was nominated to be vice president. So Kevin McCarthy could not remove Kamala and make himself president. That's not possible.
Thought it was.
And this story of the tape could actually, in a way, defend Kevin McCarthy. This tape, I'm sure Kevin McCarthy knows all about it, maybe why he hasn't impeached Biden yet for all these things, because the tape is better.
Well, you know what? I just think that the American people can handle the absolute truth about what's going on. And I will tell you this, without President Trump, we would not have known any of it.
No, and Greg Kelly, he didn't say audio tape. Tape could include video. Yeah, could include video. And with Joe Biden, you never know what's on a Joe Biden videotape. I mean, we've seen what his son does.
Where do you think you learned it from?
Mm-hmm. Pops. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Deerfield, what's up?
Hey, Brian, how are you today?
Yeah.
Now, I take Greg Kelly as not only one of the most underrated television shows, but I think he's a very serious journalist.
Yes.
Come out with those accusations. They've got something really big here. I'm just trying to think what it is. There's already been so much information let out about this idiot in the White House. Are we talking just a total mass corruption unveiling in this?
We can only speculate. And the only two things based on what we have, because it's got to be something that Democrats wouldn't defend. My guess would be, it would be him taking a bribe and using the N-word to describe Obama at the same time. I mean, there's got to be something, because a bribe alone, I don't think the Democrats would say. They would come up with so many excuses. Well, he was running a sting operation. He was, like John McCain. Remember John McCain set up all those congressmen in Abscam? right? Oh no, he was back during those ab scam days and he was doing a sting. It's got to be something that the Democrats wouldn't dig in and defend. That's why I think the N-word.
Little that falls in that category.
Yeah.
That they definitely don't want to come to the public where Biden might just go ahead and just step down on his own accord.
Nothing's going to listen. Joe Biden is a lifelong criminal. He is criminally insane. Okay? In fact, he is, and I don't say this lightly. I've said this since he's been in the White House. He is so criminally insane, he does not even realize that his crimes are crimes. He thinks this is just how this is work in Washington. So when you're that out of it, and it's not because of his senility and Alzheimer's or whatever he's got.
So much through the years.
That's right.
That he has lost his sense of right and wrong.
That's correct. He has no moral code anymore, other than pay me.
He's now
Did this guy ever have a moral code in his life? You look at these early.
Yeah.
He now operates under the moral code that whatever you can get away with is right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Days are coming to him, but I got to tell you, when he said he was taking the gloves off, and you see him going on the offensive for Trump supporters, I tell you, it's electric.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, this is the thing, okay? I believe, the government obviously is corrupt. We're seeing this more so than we ever dreamed. However, I imagine there's a lot of people that are in hiding. Yesterday I played this audio at the end of the show of a black woman who's a Trump supporter, and she said she kept it a secret until the mugshot because she was afraid to come out as loving Trump, and she came out of the closet. It was in yesterday's show. I think there's a lot of people inside the government at all levels who are disgusted by this corruption and are maybe helping the Trump team.
So big that it may do irreparable damage to the whole Democratic Party and the media on the television.
Listen, nothing can do that. The Democrats used to lynch and enslave black people and launch the Civil War. Okay, so and they experimented on black people. They put Americans of Japanese descent in concentration camps. The Democrats have done a lot of terrible things, and they've always stuck around. So no. But it could definitely result in some problems for Biden. Listen, we got to run. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, are you already dreaming about your next vacation getaway? Well, Margaritaville at Sea Summer
Great calls today.
Sale is back, but only for a very limited time. Check out a 3-day, 2-night cruise to the Bahamas starting at only $99 for 2 guests. An incredible deal you won't see again this season. Enjoy delicious island-inspired cuisine, amazing live entertainment, spectacular ocean breezes, and so much more. Don't miss your last chance to break away to the Bahamas with cruises for 2 starting at $99. Book today at margaritavillatsea.com.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement are great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online, with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right?
It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam. And Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection. It totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FL.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve is here. So the hurricane, it's a Category 3. It has made landfall, not in our part of Florida. I know they'll tell you in the news, the worst hurricane's 5. This is only a 3, which is considered a severe hurricane. What they leave out is this. When they assign a category number to a hurricane, that is sustained winds. So even in a Category 3, you're going to get Category 5 winds, okay, that aren't sustained. And they do a heck of a lot of damage. And I'm looking, this is a bad one, Steve. I'm looking out of the window here of the radio studio. It is a beautiful, perfect day outside. And that's because of the hurricane. Yesterday it wasn't this way. When a hurricane comes by, it sucks all the bad weather with it. And when the hurricane leaves, you have the perfect weather for the planet. It's, this is a bad one. Now I want to tell you guys, because we have a lot of listeners on the West Coast, if you have storm damage or know someone who does, call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. He covers the entire state of Florida, both the east and west coast of Florida, and everywhere in between. He helped a lot of our listeners on the West Coast after the last hurricane last year, okay? I'm going to give you Tom's number. His response time is amazing, and this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. And by the way, not only does he do every type of roof, he does every type of structure, single-family home, homeowners associations, office buildings, churches, government buildings. He does every type of structure and every type of roofing material. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, I sent your wife a text during the break, Steve, if you need to touch base with her on something. But we only have one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, and let's just take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Hi.
Yes.
In Broward.
Hey.
Hey, Steve. Hey, I like the guy who called in with the N word. You know, if there's a tape with that out there, that would be spectacular. Especially if the Rock is mentioned. Even if that word is mentioned, it'll be spectacular. I would love to see how Cardi B, would respond.
Well, okay. When you're talking about this is the thing, okay? Because Greg Kelly is pretty firm that it's going to force him out of office without question. Announce he's not running. There are other than the N-word, what is another taboo that Democrats have in our society? Other than saying the N-word?
Incest?
I wouldn't be so sure about that. I don't know. Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor were cousins, so I don't know. That's maybe that one. Okay, there were so few taboos left in Democrat circles, so it's got to rise to something that the liberals would not defend. And I think if it was just a bribe, they would. Oh, that was a long time ago. You know, his son's troubled and all this, and he was dealing with the loss of Bo, and people do things, you know.
I already think we have enough documentation. Joe Biden is upward of $50 million in documented evidence already that's on the table. I don't think it is anything with money, because we already have that. I believe because of what's going on right now with this racist lady in Georgia, I believe it could be with the voter fraud.
You think that Joe Biden, I think it's something from the vice president days, because he hasn't had his wits about him since then. I just don't think it's anything that's recent, because he's not involved in the decision making and hasn't been his entire presidency or president-elect or campaign era. So
If they were looking for a tape in Trump's safe, then they want something physical.
That's correct.
The only thing I can fall back on is the 20 days in Washington.
No, we got a bad connection with the wind. That's not the hurricane, because you're not in that part of Florida. They've done raids we know of for the Hunter Biden hard drive. That's what they said Giuliani was about, and the Ashley Biden diary. They've done raids for things that they didn't want people to know about before. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Me?
Yes.
My name's Vinny. I'm calling from the Pompano area.
Okay, Vinny in Pompano. Pompano area. That's kind of vague. What, you're not in Pompano, you're in the area of Pompano?
Yeah, like Pompano, North Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. What's on your mind in the area of Pompano? Here we go.
Things, what is it going to take for the people of this country to look around and say, we're talking about corruption, we're talking about selling us out to China, we're talking about so many things that are destructive to the way of life of freedom and liberty. What is it going to take in your mind for the American people to finally walk to Washington?
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. I can tell with the funny voice and everything else. That guy can try to disguise his voice as much as he wants. There's no disguising that lunacy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
AT.
Hey, Fort Lauderdale. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay. So I just was pondering the content of my call, and we're talking about corruption with Democrats, and I just can't go back to trying to list them and figure out the trail, but the Queen has to be Hillary with the private computer servers and snipping and pasting top secret information and all that. Spinning all the phones. That has to be the very...
Well, what Greg Kelly said, it's a tape of Biden himself and his corruption.
That was a preface. Now, moving on to Joe Biden. The Shokin recording, when Poroshenko was the president of Ukraine and Valerie Jarrett, I'm not Valerie Jarrett, her name escapes me now. She was Obama's architect, and she was on the phone.
Susan Rice?
No, not her.
I don't know.
It'll come to me. But she was the architect of setting up the new government after the color revolution over there.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about, no, we don't want Poroshenko. He's not this and that and all. This is the whole Democrat Party, Obama's mess here, that we're bailing them out with tax money. I mean, now, if Joe wanted to use all his money that he made with all his corruption and Obama's corruption and kickbacks and everything, was setting up that whole new government over there, why don't they use their money? But we got our boys over there now. They're not reporting it. The fraud media is not reporting.
Yeah.
Special forces and pilots and everything. We got the best of the best.
Oh yeah. Who do you think? Listen. Who do you think's using all this equipment that's in English? These Ukrainian soldiers don't speak or read English. They speak and read Ukrainian. All the equipment's very high tech and computerized. It's all in English. And you think these guys just learned how to fly fighter jets and use missiles? Listen, thank you for the call, but we're 2 minutes late for the break. We got to run, but take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We continue to track the Dahlia making landfall later on this morning as a major hurricane across the Big Bend. For South Florida today, gusty winds across the storm force, variably cloudy with very
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
No accidents or major delays for the Palm Beach commute this morning. I-95 is still in pretty good shape. Just the usual traffic. 95 southbound passing Jersey Beach Boulevard to Atlantic. 95 northbound from Greenfield Beach into Boca. The turnpike is up to full speed. The surface streets are also crash-free. We are seeing some light buildups on 441 passing Lake Worth Road. This report is sponsored by Reese from North. If you want your windows near Reese, pick up the phone and just text Reese. Win $15,000 in new impact windows from Reese windows. Pick up the phone and text the word happy right now to 20129. That's happy 20129. That's traffic this far.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is the county's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks, and this weekend, bet on exciting races like the Kentucky Downs Million Bet, Del Mar's $1 Million Pacific Classic, Saratoga's $1 Million Jockey Club Gold Cup, and much more. Visit the Paddock Restaurant with over 180 new HD TVs and big screens, plus exceptional dining and drinks. The Paddock is also your best bet for comedy, music, and dinner shows. For a full schedule of events, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Hey, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers. We're looking to buy more houses here in South Florida and would love to make you a no-obligation cash offer on your home. If you own a house, condo, or any other type of property and want to sell it quickly with no hassles,
Victoria Newland? Yeah, I think so.
7070. We've been buying houses since 2011 and helped hundreds of homeowners sell their homes without the hassles and costs of listing with an agent. We're rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and have over 100 excellent online reviews from our happy sellers. People love working with us, and so will you. Whether you have a damaged fixer-upper home or a beautiful home that doesn't need any repairs, we can buy it. You don't need to clean or fix anything, and there's no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home easily on your terms, call us today for a free offer. 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane and check out KANE and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years, but not anymore. It's all gone, thanks to Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain system. I'm in studio right now with Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton, how'd you do it?
By treating the knee pain with laser, treatment is simple and no side effect. I have robotic lasers that have a wonderful effect on joint pain. These are all FDA approved.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help with.
Make sure you subscribe if you're new, guys.
Shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica.
And everyone, please like the video. That helps a lot. Spreads the word about the show when you like the video.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician.
Well, thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
There's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs.
And don't forget what if you missed the very beginning when I talked about that "Don't Tread on Me" flag kid. Oh my goodness, these teachers they're out of control. It was in the first 2 segments of the show.
Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We have been in the for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our values and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At LaPorta Contracting,
Well, that's awesome.
family is what we are, and roofing and restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers to a successful outcome by constantly informing them every step of the way. At LaPorta Contracting, let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or visit us on our website at laportacontracting.com. That number again is 954-604-4602.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show. Celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. Huge news day, and I want to take one or two more calls, Steve, and then there's another major story we have not gotten to yet that you had actually called me about this at about 5:30, 5:45 this morning, and I know there's so much. I know we got to maybe we should expand this show to 4 hours, Steve. I mean, because there's so much, and I've only gotten to like 2 stories in all my show prep today. It's that crazy. But let's take a call or two first, and then I'll share this news story. Well, you told me about this this morning before I went on the air, but there's major update on it, and we got all the details now. But let's take a call or two first, and then we're here till 9. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
James from Boca.
Oh, yes.
Don't be so excited.
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air.
All right, so let alone Hunter being in Ukraine, so is his son, and I think it's Mitch's son, and they're doing the same thing, working for a different company.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, of the Ukraine war, how many people did we lose during Vietnam?
Over 50,000.
Something like that. They lost over 250,000 people in Ukraine to this war. And you haven't seen anything on CNN or anything about the war like they would during Afghanistan.
Well, that's the one thing I don't understand, because the media are in favor of U.S. intervention in Ukraine. I don't know why they don't tell us the number of Ukrainian losses, because President Trump even says Ukrainian losses are much larger. I've heard numbers as much as over 400,000 by some experts on Ukraine that have been lost by Ukraine alone. I don't know what the numbers are, but I don't know why the media would cover that up, because it would get public opinion on their side for the war.
Also, the videos of Kiev and every place else, they see, they're partying, walking down the street.
Yeah.
You don't hear any bombing or.
Yes.
Oh, it's like a wag the dog situation, the movie.
I don't know. But I know this, that Pops Biden gets 10% of everything we send over there. I know that. All right, hey, listen. Yeah. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. Great call. All right, take care. I thought he was somebody else from Boca, Steve, just by the tone. I don't know, that New York accent, I guess. I thought he was somebody else. Okay, now, here is the story. Now, you had mentioned this to me before I went on the air today, and we got more details on this. Now, this story started leaking out a while ago, but now we're at the point where we're getting concrete details and evidence of it, okay? This is the Biden email story. The National Archives reveals it has 5,400 Biden emails in which Biden used fake names to forward government information and discuss business with Hunter. Now, this very well could be illegal. The names include, these are his aliases: Robert Ware, Robert L. Peters, and J.R.B. Ware. These are aliases that Biden was using in these emails. Why would he be using aliases, Steve, in emails to his son?
Obviously, whatever he's trying to transmit to his son is unethical, illegal, or both.
Well, yeah, and he thinks if he uses a fake name, that, oh, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. You know, that was if he uses an alias. If he says Robert Ware, oh, that's not me. That's Bob Ware. You know, Bob Ware. That's not me. No, I mean, it's if he's sending email communication just to his son. I think he uses the fake name. Well, for what you're saying, but also he knows what his son is like, and he didn't want to have his name on it, even though it's private communication with him and Hunter, because he is afraid Hunter would leak it, which he did, right? He left the laptop at that repair shop on purpose, just like Ashley left the diary at the rehab. Yeah, so it's really an interesting thing. He trusts Hunter to do all this dirty business and money laundering, yet he really doesn't trust him, right? That's, I mean, if he, with private emails, I don't see any other, but if the National Archives have them, see, this guy has just done so much dirty business and criminal activity, Steve. If the National Archives have these emails, that means he was using the government computers and government servers. He wasn't like using his private phone or computer to send emails. He was using an official government computer. So why would he take that risk? The only thing I can think of, the only reason he would take the risk, because anything he does on a government computer that he knows there's a record of, is that he was sending Hunter things that you could only send through a government computer, things that are secret, things that are classified, things that are sensitive, you know. So there's what Joe Biden is, and Joe Biden, I think they put up with his corruption to a certain point, but he's so dirty at this level. When you have every spotlight on you as president, you just can't continue to get away with things. There's too many people looking at you. When you're a senator, you can get away with a lot more than when you're president. You don't have as many people looking at you when you are a senator as you do when you're president. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Arizona. Terry, how you doing this morning?
All right, Terry.
Hey, I got a question for you, a couple things. And everybody kind of forgets this one, though. Remember when the Hunter phone came out and he had his father in there, his Pedo Pete?
No. I don't remember that, no. It wouldn't surprise me. I've heard the name Peter come up before. This isn't the first time I've heard the name Peter come up with Biden.
On the streaming services, and I mean, a third of the Republican Party, at least, like in New Hampshire, is maybe more actively trying to keep Trump's name off the ballots everywhere. And
yeah.
How are we going to defeat our own party, arguably as bad as many of these Democrats? And I'll let you go. Thanks a lot, man.
Okay, well, that's part of draining the swamp. All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Rabbi David. How are you?
Oh, hey, Rabbi.
So, by the way, you mentioned Robert. It's actually Robin Ware.
Robin.
By the way, he's...
Yeah, you're correct. It's Robin Ware and Robert Peters. Yes.
Think about it. His middle name is Robinette. Joe Robinette.
Correct.
He came up with Robin as his secret name.
Oh, how clever.
Name.
How clever.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I wonder what the combination is on his luggage. 1, 2, 3. What do you think?
Yeah, and where probably he was looking at the word software or something.
He's not. This is not Usual Suspects.
By the way, I'm not sure it's going to be Giuliani. I feel like unless you really hit it somewhere, I think Giuliani. They went through everything of his. And so I feel like it might be some Russian, one of the Ukrainian guys. You got the prosecutor there. Because they said the way Kelly said it was he was someone who's in politics but not in politics, meaning he's in politics but maybe not in our politics.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could be. You're right. The Ukrainian prosecutor Shokin's been all over the news lately, so maybe he's got something from Ukraine, is what you're suggesting.
And I think Steve was right about the timing. It's very interesting. We don't know the answer to it, but it's some reason it's not being shown right now. It's coming out in the fall for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure why or what.
No.
Going on,
Mm-hmm.
but it could just be. Maybe it could be also they don't want to give the Democrats enough time to start figuring out who. There might be.
Well, Greg Kelly says the White House knows about it and they're scrambling to cover it up.
Maybe there's some timing where you can't. They're looking for another candidate after Biden. To get Kamala, but they're gonna. The longer it's dragged out, the less time.
I saw an interview once with a criminal on ID, a convicted criminal in prison, and he was talking about his interrogation, and he says, when you're a criminal, you think that everybody knows everything you've done. And he said that's the criminal mindset, that you think everybody knows everything you've done. So whatever they're searching around for could be at the White House could be something completely different than what is actually on the tape. But it's got to be something. Greg Kelly is so confident he would have to announce he's not running again, maybe resign from office. So it's got to be something that would turn Democrats and say, we can't support that. He's got to go. And there's just so few things that Democrats have problems with.
Right. Now, but wait, I'm just throwing a little conspiracy together. Maybe it's another Democrat who really wants to run for office decided to spill the beans again.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. All right, take care. Good to hear from you. Rabbi David. That's right. We don't hear from Rabbi David enough. All right, we'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Big moves in the precious metals yesterday, and looks like today also. The gold yesterday gaining $17.60, closing at $1,937.20 the ounce. Silver up a whopping 50 cents again yesterday at $24.70, eyeballing that $25 number again. Platinum up $11 at $9.79, and palladium closed up or down $4 yesterday at $1,218. The rally continues in gold this morning as we see a high of $1,947, currently at $1,944 the ounce. That's up $6.80. Silver up 15 cents at $24.85 the ounce. We got all the way up to just under $25 this morning, $24.94 so far. Platinum up $2 at $9.81, and palladium down $13 at $12.05. The dollar is lower on the index.
Yeah, now the prices are looking good today, and I want to ask you again about the Silver Eagles. Are Silver Eagles still looking good?
Have already started going back up. We had that little dip, and we got them back down to normal. Now they're up another $2 per ounce.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that dip, but they are moving back up again.
Okay, so when it comes to silver, what are some of the best buys right now then?
We do have a special coming in on George III silver Britannias, and those are beautiful coins with the new reigning monarch, and those will be priced very reasonable, as well as we have the kangaroos. The 1 ounce round, silver rounds are very reasonable. We have a good deal on those with the buffaloes on them, and of course all the bars, 10 ounce bars.
Well, I tell you, that all sounds great. Those new Britannias, and this is because this is the beginning of the reign of a new monarch, King Charles. So that's a cool collectible to have too, on top of just the silver value. All right, listen, guys. When William Youngerman tells you it's a time to buy this, listen. That's why we ask these questions. Give him a call. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. His number, toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, and online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. Back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is...
All right, and if you're sick and tired of suffering with pain, if you're taking medications to mask the pain, or, oh man, are you tired of getting shots for your pain? That's crazy. Go see Dr. Appleton and talk to him about his laser away pain treatment. It works. He's rid me of pain 5 different times. from injuries and from just growing older, and it works, guys. Dr. Appleton's laser away pain treatment is amazing. There are no drugs, no shots, no contracts like these other doctors have. You just pay as you go. And appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Now, when you call Dr. Appleton's office, if you need directions to his office, he'll gladly text them to your cell phone. So if you need directions, ask, and they'll give them to you, or they'll text them to you to your cell phone, okay? You can find him online at AppletonChiro.com, or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. It's really amazing, Steve. Not only is today a big news day, all these things that they've been pulling, these corrupt Democrats, Trump's winning in every story. It's all been positive for Trump and MAGA, which means good for us in America. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm Chris from Fort Lauderdale. Great show. Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the corruption, of course. I think it's just going to be more of the same. I know you remember when he was vice president, he bragged about withholding money from Ukraine when they were investigating
That's right.
Other things, fire. And, I love it because as soon as I get a conversation with a liberal and they bring up something, negative against President Trump, I'll agree with them, and then I go right to, hey, let's play by the same rules here. What about this and that? And
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that right there, it's just going to be another honest moment where they probably catch him on tape saying the truth like he was withholding the money that they held against Trump.
Well, that's why I think it's more than a bribe, okay? Because we've already seen him on C-SPAN negotiating a bribe when he was bragging about the prosecutor and stuff. So it's something more. And the only taboo on the left, the only taboo that liberals have is the N-word. That's it.
And, that whole agenda that they have going, LGBT, whatever, and their wheel there. There's a lot of people using those mediums like Rachel Maddow, different ones, that push that agenda forward.
Oh, you mean like gay slurs, like the gay equivalents to the N-word and stuff? Yeah. No. Listen, lives are destroyed by the use of the N-word. So it's got to be. It can't be just a bribe. It's got to be more.
I agree with you. I think it's a bombshell. He's just having an honest moment straight out of his mouth, and more truth about how bad a person he is.
These corrupt Democrats, if they would have just let Trump alone, let him have his second term, let him get reelected here, things would go much easier for them. And they're just running scheme after scheme after scheme, and it's falling apart for him. By the way, they're allowing Harrison Floyd, the one black man in the Trump 19 in Fulton County, they gave him bail finally. They kept him in jail a week, but I don't know if he's raised it and bailed out yet, but they gave him bail at $100,000 yesterday.
I'm glad you mentioned that because part of this desperation they have is they know they can't go to that well twice, 2 elections in a row, stealing.
Mm-hmm. Now look for Ron. Ron DeSantis is doing what he's good at, right? Being the governor during times of crisis. So you're going to see DeSantis look very good on television in the aftermath of this god-awful storm hitting northern Florida today. And that's going to give him some hope that he can be president again. He was a broken man yesterday. Now he's energized because he's going to look good for a while.
Poor guy. He really played those cards wrong. You hope for him. Like you said, doing what he does best. His first term, right? He stepped into the role because he was a lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, listen, appreciate the call. Great call. We've had great calls today, Steve. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is JJ from Mass. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, JJ. I don't think we've heard from a single Democrat today.
They're all crying their tears. This is big news with Greg Kelly.
Oh, yes.
I think the thing about him is that he's just, to me, he's extremely credible. He's a great family, straight up good guy, and I don't think I thought at first that there's a possibility this could actually be from the Democrat side, from the uniparty deep state, because they want to get rid of Biden because he's falling apart. But I don't them giving information like that for Greg Kelly. So I think this is definitely the gentleman who mentioned
the Ukrainian prosecutor.
Well, yeah, I think there's a possibility of that. And I mean, Trump. I think when they went into his safe at Mar-a-Lago, we even talked about it then. They were after something. I think they've probably been after these tapes, and I think that Greg Kelly even said during the podcast that there's more than one. You know, in other words, Kratz or FBI, corrupt FBI, CIA, whatever. You know, don't worry. Hey, go ahead. If you find one, you're not going to find the other 10 we have. And I think as much as your the possibility of the N-word. You know, that's, you know, I just don't see that. I think it's going to be just undeniable, you know, straight up, easy to understand, so obvious and clear cut that even half the Democrat voters, you know, the Democrat...
Hold on, Greg, one second. I'll give you a good closing question. When we find out about it, is it just going to slip out by accident?
Yeah. Well, oh, no, it'll be... Oh, no. No, it's going to start to leak out. It's got to start to leak out. It's got to, because Greg Kelly's talking about it. We're talking about it. Others are going to talk about it.
The way or climate change the way out of this. It's going to be so obvious.
Yes, yeah.
Mentioned early in the show, Brian, I think, you know, Trump is, well, obviously we know he's extremely smart. He is going to go out and just hammer this, nail it every time he's out talking is going to be mentioned.
Yep. It's amazing. Yeah. All right, JJ, good to hear from you. And I'll tell you, Steve, I can't play this because it's more visual than audio, but President Trump has a new ad that I saw yesterday afternoon, and it's unlike anyone I've ever seen. It's top-tier political people that put this ad together, and it's a beautiful ad, and he's got top political people in his orbit now like he's never had before. Okay? Yeah.
And the stuff he's doing in his ads now is just...
Absolutely. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's up?
I don't understand. Congratulations to Trump and his beautiful new ad. Probably a piece of garbage. Second off, once again, Brian, I commend you for having a show of absolutely no truth whatsoever. You don't even know what you're talking about, do you, man? You don't.
That's why we have you here to straighten it out.
Yes.
Big mouth.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you're speculating the N-word.
Straighten it out.
Well, tell us. Yeah.
Saying is making up accusation and opinion.
You're saying
nothing.
Doing,
the whole show.
You're saying nothing.
You don't know what it is. Wait till it comes out. He ain't going nowhere. You're just hoping.
But why are you so? If it's no big thing, what are you so upset about? I mean, I understand you're upset at looking stupid. Nobody likes.
Oh yes.
But aside
from
that,
you're not
what
even
is
talking.
What is upsetting you?
You guys just...
Yeah. Okay. Now he hung up, Steve. He did the fake cell phone problem, and then he hung up. He did I love that one. He just surrendered. Well, when you hang up, you're not on the air. We still are, and the conversation continues just without you. No, we got a lot. And Greg Kelly at NewsMax is very, very credible. He not only does he have the connections with these people since he was a kid because of his father, he was a local news guy in New York City on the local news for years. He also does a show in the afternoon, Steve, on WABC in New York radio. So Greg Kelly is a very credible source, and if you watch his show, I think it's the best show on cable right now. It comes on too late for me. They moved him from 7 to 10 at night, and I'm in bed by 10. But I do watch it on the weekends. I'll catch up and watch a couple episodes of it, Well, they should just run their primetime stuff all weekend long. Greg Kelly is the best, and I've been following him for a couple of years on Newsmax, and I cannot recall him ever reporting something that was not true.
So there are three major hosts, and I can't give you their names, because of what I'm saying. The three hosts vocally sound very, very similar.
Yeah.
When you're not that used to them, they're almost like it.
Well, I would, if I could, I love Newsmax, but I would change Greta Van Boring's time slot to weekends or something, because, yeah.
She's
Terminal.
Let me tell you something.
We're out of time, Steve. So.
Okay, she's not bad on the Trump stuff.
No, she's not. She's good, but she's just not exciting. She's not a host. She's a guest, right? She's a pundit. She's not a host. She's too boring. Listen, hey, I didn't miss her during OJ. She was the best. She was a CNN legal expert during the OJ trial. We're out of time for today. We'll be back tomorrow. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve has been here. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Hey, guys. I got to run. Make sure you like the video before you go. See you soon.